Hey OTF fam, you're listening to Behind the Splat Points, which shares the untold stories of inspiring coaches behind the Orange Theory franchise. And we're going all out in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to Behind the Splat Points. My name is Amy Owen, your host and steadfast Orange Theory member. On today's podcast, we'll be talking with Alicia Ferrera, also known as Coach Lish, one of my favorite Orange Theory coaches at my home studio here in Gainesville, Florida, which actually has 3 studios in town. Alicia kicks my butt multiple days a week, usually before the sun rises, and every Sunday afternoon during a 90-minute class. Shortly after this episode was recorded, Alicia was promoted to head coach, and if you've ever taken a class with her, it's easy to see why.
That's it, Victoria. Go on, Amy. Halfway. Come on, Molly. What are you waiting for here? Let's go. That's it, Lindsay. Good, Tim. Waist control, guys. In 3, 2, 1.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's learn a little bit more about you. Where are you from?
Right outside of Pittsburgh, Beaver County, whoop, whoop. My parents are still up there. It's about 20 miles north of Pittsburgh. Spent a lot of time in the city going to Steelers games. Big Steelers fan. I obviously went to Pitt for undergrad. Stayed relatively close to home. And I said, Mom and Dad, I got to get out of here. Because I was scared that if I never left, I would never leave. So I moved down here, did my master's, and that was 2 years. I said, okay, I'm going to go back home. I got a job lined up with UPMC. All my friends are up there. My family's up there. About January of my second year, I came back from Christmas, and I was like, oh, Gainesville's not that bad. So I was like, everything kind of fell into place again. I got a job. One of my coworkers was leaving. I swooped in. I took her job. And I stayed there for 2 years until I kind of, again, made another switch to where I'm at now, but Gainesville has been great. We actually just had this conversation last night. I feel like everyone that's from Gainesville is like, why did you choose Gainesville? And I say the same thing about where I'm from. But at the end of the day, Gainesville has so much to offer everyone, no matter where you're at in life. You got a college town if you want it. You got the northwest side of town, families, a little bit more, I don't want to say civilized, but a little bit more civilized up there. You have the southwest side of town. It's close to the shops. You want to go to Jacksonville, it's an hour and a half. You want to go to the beach, it's an hour and a half either side. So you really, depending on what you want to do, you want to go hiking, you want to go to the springs, there's just so much to offer for everyone. And it's sunny. I hate dealing with snow. It's too cold in the snow, and you got to tack on 30 minutes to whatever you want to do. Need to take your coat off, it's going to take 30 minutes. Need to start the car, it's going to take 30 minutes. So that's why I came down here and stayed.
Can you talk a little bit what got you interested in athletic training and fitness?
Oh, definitely. So I always played sports growing up. I was always a big sports girl. I'm the only child, so I always say that I was my dad's only son. So I played sports. I was out there throwing a baseball with him, kicking a soccer ball around. When I got to undergrad, I wanted to join sports and kind of the way the body worked. I always had an interest in muscles. I had an interest in joints, and that stuff almost came naturally to me. So athletic training was a great way of pairing those two things. I wanted to know why we do things the way that we do, and then what benefit we get from them. So if, I was dealing with an injury, I wanted to know why the injury happened and what can I do to help it, or what my next steps were. I always loved learning about that stuff. Again, I was nerdy when it came to science. I was nerdy when it came to the way the body worked. So I found athletic training. I said, okay, I'm involved with sports, and I still get to be on the medical side of it. And I think that I like the strength and conditioning side a little bit more than maybe most athletic trainers. Again, I liked doing something with a purpose. People always say that I walk around with a purpose, because I do. I walk to get from point A to point B, so I wanted to do something with a purpose. The strength and conditioning world, the fitness world, I was doing something to see a result or to get a result faster, stronger, better, more mobility, stuff like that. So that was where my interest just naturally fell, and kind of what led me to where I'm at today.
What led you to Orange Theory?
Oh, so I did a lot of driving by Orange Theory. I always heard of it. Like, I saw it on social media. A couple of my friends did it. And at that point, I was, like, in the gym. I was, like, lifting, doing my own cardio, but I wanted a routine. I was sick of just, like, thinking of what to do and writing it down and, like, not really, again, it became about, like, a purpose. I wasn't moving for a purpose there. Like, a lot of days it just became, like, going there, getting out. So I found Orange Theory. I signed up with one of my friends that I went to, did my grad program with. Her name was Gina. We tried out Orange Theory. Gina was a lot faster and a lot stronger than I ever was. So it was fun for me to try and keep up with her. And again, it gave me, like, that competitive edge that I always liked. It just stuck. It became something I did before class, after class, before I went to work. Wherever it fell into my schedule, I found myself, like, seeing that I was getting faster, figuring out that I like the routine. I became a creature of habit. Like, I could always fit, like, you guys are that 6:15 crew. You love that 6:15 morning slot. I was the same way. So it fit into my schedule, and then I would try and go to the gym outside of it, and I was like, there's no one here telling me what to do. There's no one here, like, pushing me. There's no one here yelling at me, so why am I here? I'm not going to get anything done. So then it just, like, it became a lifestyle at that point. Like, we kind of always joke that it's a cult, but it really is. It's scary. It is.
It is. And the reason that I joined Orange Theory, similar to what you're talking about, is because there's someone literally telling me what to do every step of the way.
Right.
So, you all are there telling me, okay, now this is what you're going to do on the floor. This is what you're going to do in the rower. This is what you're going to do on the tread. And I don't have to think about, okay, what's my next move? You all are guiding us all through all that.
And I was like, and to be I try to be transparent about myself and kind of where I'm at. I was in a really bad spot when I was in grad school. Between my first year and my second year, I was going to the gym, but, like, my eating habits weren't great. I was not happy with the way I looked. I was not happy with the way I felt. And that had stemmed from stuff that I had gone through in undergrad and kind of in my younger years. But when I started Orange Theory, there was, like, a whole new level of accountability. I worked a lot with Ferrera. Shout out Ferrera.
Ferrera is another incredible Orange Theory coach in Gainesville, Florida.
Ferrera was one of the biggest role models in my life when it came to figuring out, like, where my head was at, where my eating was at. I confided in her a lot, and to this day, like, I know she gets it. Helped me become more open with everything. I think that when we, not to, like, transition into mental illness, but when we think of things that we go through, like, on a mental side, we're all scared to talk about it. And, like, I'm the biggest advocate of just, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're dealing with. Let's talk about what you're feeling, and let's figure out a solution or a way that we can help you. And Orange Theory really became that for me. It gave me a routine. Okay, if I don't do this, I'm going to feel like crap the next day. And I don't want to feel like crap because I want to feel good and I want to be able to perform. So it became less about that feeling and more about the performance. And, like, eventually it helped me evolve into a way more normal lifestyle. So
that's great. And how did you go from being an Orange Theory member to leading the classes?
Oh, so one day I was walking out of class and Mandy was like, hey, Alicia.
Mandy Sperlin was a former head coach at Orange Theory.
And Gina was with me too. And she's like, we're opening a new studio. Like, do you want to coach? And I was like, I guess, like, sounds kind of cool. And at that point I was still in grad school, and I was like, how do I make this work? And I try to be very, like, open with them about it. And even when I was still an athletic trainer, I said, guys, this is my schedule. I'll help you out as much as I can, but, like, this is my career, and then this is some people's career, but, like, this is my job. And I said I have to focus my time into my career. And I tried to stay open with it, and Mandy worked with me with my schedule and training, and I got it done. Super thankful for everyone that helped me out with it, but I got that training done. We opened university. I was coaching at university for a little bit, and then I bounced around a couple places, and then I ended up at Butler. So I'm happy about it.
What's the training process like to become a coach?
So it's a week long. We did it in-house because we were opening a new studio. It's like a week long. You learn everything behind Orange Theory. You learn like some anatomy things, like some exercise things. You learn how to coach the template. You learn how to differentiate your voice. Are you coaching a push? Are you coaching all out? Which was my biggest struggle. Like, I couldn't change my tone from bass to an all out to save my life, and sometimes I still can't. It was just a very intense week. You are going through the templates. You are doing the templates. You're taking a staff class. You're back into exercising. Like, not only is it mentally exhausting, but it's also physically exhausting. It was a great week, but it was tough.
Why do you think that, you were gravitated towards Orange Theory over being a coach at, let's say, like a Planet Fitness or any type of other gym?
I think it's just the way that everything kind of unfolded. I was a pretty avid member at Orange Theory. I knew a lot of people at Butler. I'd become friends with a lot of people at Butler. They knew me, I knew them. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I enjoy this. Why not help other people enjoy it? I always say, it started as me filling up my own cup, and now I get to fill others. Now I get to help others while still helping myself in the process. I'm still there, still working on myself, but it became more about helping the members focus on what their needs and their wants are rather than my own. And that's really what it was about when it came to Orange Theory.
When you were first starting out, has the community been supportive? How did you kind of navigate? Because I'm sure becoming a coach for the first time,
right,
and getting on the mic for the first
it's scary.
Time,
it's scary. Yeah, Ferrera helped me out a lot. During that week, I called Ferrera at one point. I was bawling. I was walking. I worked at Wilson High School. I was walking outside of Wilson, and I called Ferrera, and I said, I can't do this. She's like, you need to take a breath. She said, you need to calm down because, yes, you can. She's like, everyone has felt this way. I said, okay, Mom, you're right. So, Mandy, great mentor. I've been learning a lot from Cosmo recently just because I've been working directly under him.
Cosmo, for you, acts as the head coach, overseeing all 3 studios in Gainesville.
He took one of my first classes. I actually just told him this story the other day. I was still coaching at university, and Cosmo was in class, and I was so nervous. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't even remember my name at this point. I was so nervous. And he came up to me after, and he was like, Alicia, he said, that was great. And he said, this is what you did great. Maybe we work on these, but overall, great job. He said, that was awesome. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of my coaching career, because Cosmo was one person who said, you are doing great at X, Y, and Z. These are your areas of improvement, but don't lose this. So he was just great at the I don't even want to call it criticism because it's not criticism. He was just helping me grow as a coach. And I think that I've grown more the past, how long I've been at Butler, 4 months, 5 months, than I ever. I mean, granted, we were also out of the studio for a little bit, but I've grown more the past 5 months than I have since I started. And you take different people's classes. I learn from my peers too. I learned from Brandon. I learned from Francisco. I learned from Michelle. I learned from everyone else whose classes I take, because I said, I can use that, or this is something that they're doing really well. I want to do that too. So it is just a constant learning experience. Yes, leaning on people, leaning on your friends when you have a bad day, because everyone has bad days. But at the end of the day, it's a group effort, because I'm constantly learning. And Cosmo is constantly challenging me. He's like, okay, he said, so how are you going to coach this, and how do you take it up another level? So it has been such a great learning experience, one that I truly cannot wait to keep growing and learning.
What's your favorite part about being a OTF coach and being part of that, coach family?
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Seeing the consistency in people. When you start off, you know these faces, and you're say hi to them in passing, but the more you get to know people, the more you get to know about their life, and the more they know about your life. So you go away for the weekend, hey, how was your trip home with your parents? Or you see you see something funny they post on Facebook, or they bring their kids in, and you're like, hey, how are the kids doing? It becomes more of a family dynamic, and that is the one thing that I take away the most, because again, I'm the only one down here. I moved down to Florida with just myself. I had no friends. I tell people that I don't think I talked to anyone for the first 3 weeks that I was down here, because I didn't. I knew no one. And that family aspect became more important to me. I was grasping for something, and then Orange Theory became that family. So now I met some of my best friends through Orange Theory. I met people who I talk to on a regular basis, people who I confide in, even members who I love seeing them. I love hearing what they have to say. So that it gets more and more family every single time you see the same people. I could be doing the same thing day in and day out, but it feels like it's something different every day.
And along those same lines, what brings you motivation, especially if you have to coach 3 or 4 classes in one day?
I think there's just the different classes that come through. I coach both mornings and evenings now, so that 5 a.m. crew is very different than that 5:45 crew. And it could be the same template over and over again, but the different group of people is what makes a template different. And obviously the more we go through the template, the more I get to know. It's like, I don't have to keep looking at it. I can stand by the treads and say, this is what's happening. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. So the more you do it, almost the more fun it gets, because then you can kind of challenge every single person to it, because you know your group of people, you know your members. And that's definitely what makes it more fun.
As we're kind of emerging out of this COVID-19 era, we're going from wearing masks in between stations, socially distant, to now, we're moving closer towards those full capacity classes. And so are you excited about that? How do you feel about that?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for full capacity 2Gs. I just took one the other day, and I think there were like 20, it was almost full, and it was so much fun. Like, trying to figure out where I wanted to do my burpees on the weight floor. Like, that's the stuff that I missed. High-fiving people back and forth. Looking in the mirror and being able to see the person that's right next to me. Like, that is what got me into it, and that's what I'm excited to get back for. We've been telling everyone, like, hold on, like, we are almost there, and we are almost there. Like, it is within reach right now. And I look through the glass sometimes. Like Brandon's class the other week, I was trying to get into Brandon's class, and there was 26 out of 26 people in the class. I looked, every single tread is full. And I said, guys, it looks like they're holding hands on the treadmill. Like, people are knocking elbows when they're rowing, but like that is the feeling that we've all been wanting to get back to. Like, not only coaches, but also members. And, whenever people are ready and they're comfortable, I can't wait for it to be happening.
I joined Orange Theory during the pandemic, so I really haven't experienced a full class yet. To literally hitting bones next to the person on the rower, or just being able to run next to your friend is a totally different experience.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Really excited to hopefully want to experience that. What do you love to see members do in a class? What's something that kind of sparks that joy for you?
I think it's seeing people shock themselves on what they can do. That stuff is very easy on the tread. You can run a little bit faster. But sometimes you get to a point where you lock eyes with someone, they're looking in the mirror and you're looking right at them after they just ran a 1 minute all out at a speed that they didn't think they can hold. And like, there's a little bit of shock in their eyes, and like, you just smile and you're like, I told you can do it. Like, you just got to believe in yourself. Or the weight floor, picking up a heavier weight, like seeing someone make that progress. Because it's hard when you are in the middle of it to kind of realize how far you've come. But when we're on the outside, like especially as coaches, we're on the outside. I remember people who joined in January who I see now, and I'm like, you have made so much progress. You may not see it, but you are using weights. Your form is so much better. You're running faster. You're starting to run instead of jog now. Like, it's those little things that members don't see on a daily basis that is so satisfying and gratifying to watch, because that's the reason we're here, right? It's to make sure that people are pushing themselves to where they can go, and it's just reminding them that they are capable of doing anything that they want to.
I'm not a runner, and when I joined Orange Theory, I was like, I am not a runner. I am terrified of the treadmill, and I shocked myself in doing the dry try. Like, that was something that I was like, I'll never do that. There's no way. 5K, on the treadmill, on top of 2,000-meter row, all those things on the floor, like, there's no way. And I was just so happy, but like, I think what really got me through, because it was rough. I mean, especially like the tread block, I struggled, and like, you and Cosmo and all these people were just like, literally like, Amy, you can do this. Like, just keep going. And like, that's literally what got me through, because I think had I not had those voices in my head, and like, you literally being like, come on, you can do this. You do this every Sunday. You do this every week. Like, I know you can. Like, was really inspirational for me, and like, just gave me that extra boost that I needed to like, just keep my legs moving.
In my terms, like, I don't want to disappoint someone, right? So like, it's a coach, it's a friend, it's my parents. Like, I don't want to disappoint anyone. And that, I don't want to say that was my fear as a member, but like, that was just a competitive side of me. It's like, oh, I don't want someone to tell me to do something and me not being able to do it. So like, that, I wanted to prove myself wrong. But at the end of the day, like, if I say, hey, let's hit a 9 on this next all out, and you can't, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm going to say, did you try your hardest? And if you say yes, which I know that everyone does, then that's it. Then we work for it next time. There is never a moment where I'm ever disappointed or like not happy, or I am proud of every single person that walks in and out of those doors on a daily basis, because those 60 minutes are not easy. Some days are a lot harder than others, but they are not easy. And anyone who makes it through that can make it through a lot of things.
On the opposite end, what's like your biggest pet peeve in class?
Like when I have a line that I want to say, and I know when I want to say it, and I go to deliver the line and it does not come out correct at all, I like sit there for a second and I look at myself in the mirror and I say, what are you doing? Like English is your first language. Like you can speak, like you know how to talk, and it never fails. I will never get through a class without at least saying something I don't regret. Whether it's mixing up vowels, mixing up words, letters, saying something that doesn't make sense, I just kind of roll with it. Like that is my biggest pet peeve. Then one time I went to say all right treads and I ended up saying all right eds. and Riley was changing the wipes right when this was happening, and like we locked eyes and I was like, I don't know. So now we joke about that all the time. But
all right eds, let's go.
I went with it.
That's awesome. Are there any catchphrases or common things that you find yourself saying in a class to get people motivated?
I like to use last one, best one a lot because I think it's true. I think that like adrenaline rush for the last little bit of class and like knowing A, that you're done after it, B, that you can go home and sleep or do whatever. Like I like that a lot because I think it lights a fire because it's true. Like you have that adrenaline rush. You're like, okay, this is the last 90 seconds, last minute. Like I'm done after this. So I like that one a lot. I'm really big on like commitment these days. I think like committing to a lot of things because you're not committing to other people, you're committing to yourself at that point. So whether it's committing to whatever weight you want to lift or committing to something on the tread, speed, incline, getting to class. That's our biggest thing, being accountable, holding yourself accountable and committing to it. At the end of the day, no one else is going to do it but yourself,
Where do you find inspiration for your playlists? A big part of the Orange Theory experience is the music.
I will spend hours at home figuring out what I want to use for a playlist. I use a couple different things. I do use Rock My Run sometimes, but it also depends on the different type of day. Like on a strength day, I'm a big like hip hop girl, like rap girl, but also you have to read your room. Like not my 5 a.m.s. 5 a.m.s pretty much get the same dose everyone else does, but it's just like reading the room, kind of knowing what people like. If people say, it wasn't the best, like, or that was really awesome, like I keep that in mind. I try to be great with, constructive criticism. If you don't like something, tell me and I'll change it. I'm not going to be upset or butthurt over it, I promise. So that's a lot of different things, but I stress out about music big time.
Do you have a favorite song?
I'm like really big on I'm a Boss right now by Meek Mill. I'm a big Meek Mill girl. So I like that song a lot. It's fast, it's upbeat. I can turn it up and almost blow the speakers out of Butler, which is fun to me. So
what's your favorite benchmark or signature workout? There's so many at Orange Theory. Is there one that really sticks out?
I think my favorite is probably the mile. I always say, you heard me say it today, like the faster you run, the faster it's done. You are not changing anything about that mile. It is 1 mile on the dot. I think that is probably my favorite because it is a true test of like how far can you push your limits. You have the 12-minute run, and I like to think that the 12-minute run is more of a mental battle than anything. And the mile is too, but like you are set for one distance. You have one goal here, and it's get as fast as you can to that distance. So I think that's my favorite because I shock myself every single time. I get done and I'm like, okay, I definitely could have ran faster. So like I want to do it again. Like I want it to come back around because I want to do it again. So it's definitely my favorite.
What advice would you have for a member who's maybe tackling that for the first time?
Oh, the mile? There's no pressure because every day is not a PR day. Every day is not going to be your best day. You either, you're not rested enough, you didn't sleep great, and that's okay. Because naturally, as human beings, like, we are not said to be our best every single day. I think for a member who is just doing that benchmark for the first time, like, it's just a starting point. You're doing that. There's probably no strategy behind it. You probably have no idea what you're doing. Like, you're just trying to run. And likely they're probably going to maybe run at the same pace the entire time, and that's okay. You're going into that initial benchmark with like, okay, this is a starting point for me. I'm setting the mark today to see how much better I can get when it comes around, a couple weeks, a couple months from now. So the pressure is really not, there is no pressure on that first benchmark because you don't have anything to go off of. Like you're setting the start, and that's that.
When you work out at Orange Theory, what station do you kind of gravitate towards?
Well, now it's anything that's open. I used to be a big tread girl. When I first started, I wanted to get the tread out of the way. But now I like starting on the weight floor. I use the weight floor as my warm-up. I get to the tread, and then if we're in a 3G, the rower, I kind of settle into the rower at a nice, easy tone after I get off the tread. But I do like starting on the weight floor first. I don't like being tired on the weight floor, and if you want to be fresh, you better lift some weights first. So I like doing that, and then I like ending on the tread because I'm always going to have enough energy for the tread, so I'd rather focus on the weight floor than transition over to the tread.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about would you rather.
Okay.
So first of all, Hell Week or May Mayhem?
Oh my God, they were both so hard this year. Probably Hell Week. Yeah, definitely Hell Week. Usually get a shirt after Hell Week.
So worth it. Would you rather row 2,000 meters on the rower or do 100 burpees?
Oh, 2,000 meters. That's easy. Don't even say burpees. 2,000 meters, absolutely.
No. Would you rather hold a plank or a squat for 90 seconds?
A plank.
And then would you rather do a 2G or a 3G class?
2Gs. You hate to say that extra 14 minutes or extra third makes a difference on the tread on the weight floor, but at the end of the day, it actually does, right? You're on the tread for 14 minutes as it compared to 23 minutes. There's a huge difference there. It's a mental thing. 14 minutes on the weight floor, extra 14 minutes on the tread makes a huge difference, not only in strength, muscular endurance on the weight floor, but also on the tread. Like I said, like your heart is just going to be so much stronger when you're running. And it doesn't matter what type of day it is. Like the more that you're running and you're kind of staying in that green, that orange zone, the way more benefits you're going to have. And it can happen in a 3G, but the benefits from a 2G compared to a 3G, I think, are significantly more when you have more time on the weight floor in the tread, because that's what people are looking for, right? They either want to get stronger or they want to get faster and kind of increase their cardio. And a lot of people forget that rowing is a great form of both of those. It just has to be done right to get that benefit.
What's one thing that people can do to get more results out of their workout at Orange Theory?
I think it all depends on the person. It depends on what your goals are. We say when you walk in those doors, my goal is different from your goal. Your goal is different from other members' goal. Just depends on what you're looking for. If you want total weight loss, then it might be a matter of calories in versus calories out. And I hate talking about calories, but like that just might be what it's about. If you're looking for increase in muscle, you might have to eat more. A lot of men do it too, but I think it might be a little bit more prominent in females where we think the less that we eat, we're gonna weigh less. But yes, when we step on that scale, we get scared of the number. That number, there is so much more behind that number than just a number. We get caught up in that. I did it. We all do it. There's muscle. There's fat. You have to eat more to gain more muscle. Once you gain a little bit more muscle, your body's going to change. Like you're going to lose a little bit more fat because you're gaining more muscle. So I think it's just all dependent on your goals. And again, that's where like we want people to reach out to us when it comes to what your goals are. Do you want to get stronger? Do you want to get faster? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to lose body fat? Do you want to row better? Like it's communication. Like let us help you. Just like let us know what your goals are. It doesn't have to be a simple goal. It can be very complicated, and we can figure out how to make it work. So it breaks it down to what you want, and how can we help you get to what you want.
If someone listening to this has not taken an Orange Theory class before, what would you tell them? Oh my gosh,
I always tell my intros, I said it's a lot thrown at you at first. And you remember what it was like. You're a little bit newer join. It's a lot. You're listening to everything. You hear everything, right? You hear me talking to the tread. You hear me talking to the rows. You hear me talking to the weight floor as an intro. There's loud music. There's sometimes people yelling and screaming. But it gets easier as the time goes on. You figure out what you have to listen to. If you're on the rower and you hear me say, okay, rowers, oh, that's me. You could care less about what I'm saying to the weight floor and the treads because you're too busy getting some water or figuring out where you're at. You know what I mean? But I definitely recommend that everyone who is like looking for that routine or like looking for somewhere to hold them accountable, at least try it. Give it a try. It is a great workout, especially with 2Gs coming back. A lot of people have never rowed before. And like I said earlier, rowing is a great workout. And it's a great workout by itself. It's a great supplemental workout because there's so much you can do with it. And you see the difference on power days and strength days and endurance day. It is not just about back and forth rowing. There is so much that you can do with rowing to benefit you. Everyone wants a bigger butt. Everyone wants stronger hamstrings, and rowing is great for that. There's variety. There is different coaches do different things, play different music. I strongly believe that everyone who is looking for that routine or like looking for someone to at least start them off, come try us out. Again, I don't want to like try and advertise Orange Theory, but like we try and make it so easy for you guys. Like we give you the tools that you need. It's just you need to do the work to be successful. So honestly, give it a try, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
don't miss out.
For me, that was one of the biggest things was, again, just having someone literally like walk me through, because I would go to a gym and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know whether I'm doing this right. I could be doing a deadlift and I could be doing it all wrong.
Right.
And I could hurt myself.
Right.
And so it's nice to have you all there just to guide us through everything.
As coaches, we're there. We're there to help you with your form, to make sure you're not doing a deadlift wrong, to make sure that you're not going to hurt your back. You need an option because you have an injured shoulder or like you have an injured knee. Hey, I get that more than most people do. So like, let me give you an option. Like, let me help yourself. With that being said, it gets easier. The workouts change and the workouts will vary from day to day, and they'll be harder because they're different. But if you were to do the same type of workout today, and then 3 months from now, you do the same thing over again, you would be amazed to see how much better you are in 3 months than you are from today. Just because we're not doing the same thing day in and day out, but it's the same systems and the same, on strength days, we're working on your strength on the tread. It makes you a better runner on flat. So it all intertwines at some point.
And you aren't coaching in the studio, what do you enjoy doing? Where can we find you?
I sleep a lot. I sleep a lot. I make my rounds. We used to have a joke when we were in grad school. I do the three T's: Target, TJ Maxx, and Trader Joe's. I haven't done those in a while, but I do the 3 T's. I sleep. I have a puppy. He's not a puppy. He actually turned 4 today. Today's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dawson. So he's a little anxious boy. So I try and spend time with him because he has bad separation anxiety and baseline anxiety. But yeah, we like going on walks. I used to be a homebody. I used to like spending a lot of time at home. And if you want me to be honest, ever since I started coaching, like I may not be as social as some of my peers, but I need human interaction now. Like I want to go out. I want to go hang out at my friend's house. I want to go to Celebration Point. And I think that was one of the benefits that I got kind of out of this job was like I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to be put on a mic in front of people. And now I feel like I could have a conversation with a stranger. And I never used to be like that. It's like I'm still growing in ways from Orange Theory as a member, but also as a coach, that has helped me develop into kind of what I am now and who I am now.
This concludes this episode of Behind the Splat Points. Thank you for listening. Know an OTF coach that you want featured on a future episode? Or have a question you'd want to ask a coach? Send me an email at behindthesplatpoints@gmail.com. And we're breaking it down in 3, 2, 1,